Alright, so we're going to take a look at a simple JavaScript question, and it deals with scope as well as functions, scope within functions, and calling variables from a function. It deals with global scope and function scope. So let me fire up a Vim editor. Let's create a file called, just call it scope JavaScript, and I will paste in some code. It looks terrible. Okay, this isn't at all what I wanted. So alright, I'm going to take this window and get rid of louder with Crowder in the background. And I'm going to redo this. Let me get back to it. Let's see. I'm going to delete this. There we go. Insert. I'll just X this out. Alright. Delete this and create a function. It's an immediately invoked function. And we're going to create var a equal to b equal to, let's give it a number 3, and then immediately invoke it. Hope I got that right. Let's see. And it's console.log. A not equal to undefined, and we're going to do the same thing to B. B not equal to undefined. And so the question is, this could be a typical question that somebody would get in an interview. And I should say I got this question from TopTal. TopTal, I believe that the site is. If you look up JavaScript interview questions, TopTal, you should run across this. And the question is whether A will be undefined and whether B will be undefined. So what will these print out? Let's take a look and say what's happening with A and B, these variables. What are they actually equaling? So var A equals B, clearly. And then the trickier part, though, is what does B equal? Well, in this case, B simply equals 3. That's how it's being defined. And when variables are defined this way, var A equals B is in local scope, so it's within the scope of the function, the curly braces within the function. So B is only visible here. I'm sorry, not B. A is only visible here. A is equal to B, but B is equal to 3, so this is equivalent to saying A equals 3. A equals 3 within the scope of the function. B, however, equals 3 within the scope of the function, as well as the global scope, so outside of the function. B will equal 3. So if we look at this, A is not equal to undefined. Well, A is undefined because we're calling this console.log outside of the function. Now if we called it within the function, this would be, A would be defined in the function. Outside, it is not defined, so it's true that it is undefined. A not equal to undefined, well, that's false. So the first console.log will print, that's right, you guessed it, false. The second console.log, well, you can't have a true without a false. Well, in this example anyway. So is B equal to undefined? Well, no, it's not undefined. It is at the global scope defined. So B not equal to undefined, is that true? Well, yes, B is defined, so it's not equal to undefined. So this will be true. All right, let's run this and see what happens. I think I can run this in Node. So this is, bear with me, this is the first video I have ever recorded for YouTube concerning my web programming, my programming skills. So let's see, Node, that was Scope we called it, .js. Let's see, oh, son of a gun. All right, I guess this is sort of good because then we can see what I need to do. Let's go back and correct that. It doesn't like the semicolon. I didn't expect that. But it's good because I'm learning, and it's frozen. There it goes. All right, let me get rid of this semicolon. I thought that an immediately invoked function had a semicolon at the end, but I guess it doesn't need it. Let's get rid of it and see if this works. Oh, I see the problem. I need to close the immediately invoked function. So should I close it at the very end or close it? I prefer this syntax. I think that's fine. So maybe a semicolon at the end is okay. I'm sure some of you watching this were probably saying, oh, he forgot the parentheses. And that's fine. I wish you could have told me, but of course you couldn't. So let's write this and quit it and go back up here. Try running it again, and what's the error? Reference A is not defined, which is true. Reference A is not defined. Because it's within the local scope of the function. So how can I write this differently so that it shows correctly? I should have just copied it directly from top down in retrospect. But let's correct this. We'll correct it and see what we're doing. So I should have said type of. Type of, it makes all the difference. Any minute now. I don't know why my Vim is so slow. It's never usually this slow. Maybe because I'm recording. Possibly. So, right, so I should have used something within the console.log statement. Type of A equal to undefined. Is the type of A crapola? And I don't know how to control Z in Vim. How do you undo in Vim? Anybody? Just backspace this crap. Insert. There's another console.log. So this is what the actual question was. So why don't I just I'm going to keep it as the original question, and interessante. All right, this is a total spaghetti mess, isn't it? So let me just rewrite it. Now at this point I'm just hoping it runs. I think most of you out there probably see what I'm trying to do. Determine the scope of A and B, and print out whether or not it's defined or not. And I'll have to quit Vim as soon as it opens because I needed to cursor up to Node. So this is what happens when you're trying to code when you should be sleeping. Okay. Node scope.js. So there it is. False and true. Alright, I'm going to cut this video now, and I hope somebody watches it and gives me any comment. Maybe an idea of a video you might want to see in the future. I'm going to go through the whole series of these, and this is my first one. So by the time I get to the end of all these questions, I think some people will derive some value from it. Maybe not as much from the beginning videos as from the later videos. But subscribe and send me a message, a comment of maybe a question you'd like answered, and continue watching, and you'll see many more JavaScript interview type questions being answered. So thanks again, and see you in another video. Thanksito.